Well, fellas, it's been a while, but we're back with our first Knoxville edition podcast of the year, presented by Kaiser Aluminum Wheels, and I got my boys Carson McCarl and JJ Hickle with me. Carson, you ran a weekend with the Outlaws, and now you've run one weekly show at Knoxville. Could you take us through your year so far?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. There's a lot of positives and, a few negatives too. I was pretty disappointed with how the features kind of went in both of them. The Outlaw show, it started out perfect. It was going exactly how I hoped it would. We qualified good, qualified second, and was able, got passed by Austin in the heat, got to throw a Hail Mary on him into three. That was always fun. And put it into the dash and just in the feature, I kind of overthought the setup a little bit. I get too committed to the bottom sometimes and kind of got myself really, really tight and and just hoping that I could just roll the bottom and get out of there, with a decent finish, and got myself way too tight, and we were terrible. Unfortunately, backed it up, but that was such a tough night. It's one of those where it sucks, but I feel like there was a lot of guys that would have been happy to trade nights with us, so we'll take it. And then last week went solid, I guess. I was to run ninth. I wasn't very happy with that at all. Once again there was I kept calling it the first weekend was an outlaw show, and then the last weekend was kind of like a high limit gum out show. There was quite a few high limit guys there, and still a bunch of cars, a lot of good guys, and just went out late and got myself, I was just a little too free qualifying to go right around the bottom, and was still able to lay down a halfway decent lap, and then was okay in the heat race, and just kind of okay in the feature. We started 14th or 15th or something like that, and was able to get up to ninth and get a top 10, but accidentally blocked JJ the first couple laps. He's pissed at me, but he'll get over it. I hope so. And but no, overall, just we're sitting okay. We got speed, and hopefully can make the right decisions for next week, and have a little better showing.
So last year, you were the highest. This year, you're the highest finishing guy from the points last year that allegedly is planning to run Knoxville weekly. Is the ninth a good enough start to chase a points title? Given
I
all
mean,
given all the invaders?
I guess we drove by some really good cars, and some high dollar cars and stuff like that. But it's not. I mean, it's not what I was looking for. I mean, yeah, if you look through the top 10, those are all really, really good cars, and it's good to be in the hunt with those guys, and a lot of them are going to be gone next week. But I just when you I don't even on a local show at Knoxville, when you start that far back, it's tough to climb through. So I mean, we did go forward, so there's some positives there, but no, I was pretty disappointed with running ninth, but I mean, it is what it is, and I got a few ideas on what we need to do with the car this week, so we'll try it, and hopefully start up front and stay up there.
Did you get the text JJ just sent?
I did not get the text. What did he
Well,
say?
it's because he's on his phone, so I
I
shouldn't have
know,
done
but
that. It just shows your face being half in
Oh,
the
sorry.
goddamn screen.
Oh, my bad. To all the fans at home, I forgot to charge my computer, and so I'm on my phone in my unfinished dungeon of a basement. So we'll, just I'll try to put it on my good side.
So your slumlord Geo Selzy couldn't get you a finished basement.
Well, in this economy, it's not flooded, so we'll take it.
So JJ, you've also gone racing with the Outlaws. You've also had a week. You're with a brand new team. How's it gone so far?
Yeah, I would say, to this point in the season, definitely happy. I mean, happy with the results at the Outlaw show as far as to be able to put it into the show. I mean, we qualified really well, didn't get through our heat race at all, just really struggled all night. I mean, I personally struggled in dirty air all night, just kind of wasn't sharp, wasn't as good as I needed to be, kind of knocking the rust off, it felt like. And yeah, we ended up making the show out of the B main, which was really encouraging. We beat some really fast cars there, and then in the feature just kind of existed and wound up deep in the field. And then coming into Saturday, had pretty high hopes and felt really comfortable in the race car. And man, just we went out late to qualify, but no real excuse. I think there was still plenty of speed there, and I just made one lap around the top, and then on my lap around the bottom, which is where you're about to pick up about a half a second probably on a night like this, I just drove the thing into the inside berm and kind of honestly killed our whole night as far as your track position and everything goes. We qualified not very good, barely snuck into the invert, won our heat race, which is basically if you're on the front row of a heat race at Knoxville, it's win or be in the B main possibly. So won that, started 16th in the feature. Yeah, followed Carson's right rear around there for the first 3 or 4 laps until everything got strung out, and just wound up 12th. I mean, not exactly happy with that, I wouldn't say, but definitely happy with how everything's gelling as a team, and working with Matt and Landon and his guys has been a really good deal. And getting to do double duty this week and have Blake there with my car as well as Matt and how all those guys work together was super encouraging. And our 360 deal had a lot of speed, so that was awesome to be able to run third in that deal and just have really good speed all night. So yeah, overall, I feel like we're in a really good spot here and excited for a season to come.
So this year they did a new, I guess, order of operations. What were your thoughts on it, JJ?
Man, I don't actually know what it was last year because anytime I've ever come to Knoxville, I've just run one class. I mean, I guess I do know that they changed how you qualify the 360s. Like they got you go out. I mean, I feel like you should just say what it is so we can talk about it because it'd be better. Because
Well, it's actually super complicated. It used to be the 360s would go first, and I believe the 410s would end it with the pro sprints in between, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the pro sprints were after. But this, like, they did the qualifying in one order, the heat races in another order, and the features in another order. That's why it's hard for me to even really explain it. But
yes, I mean, it was definitely a little bit confusing. I mean, they sent out an email. They said exactly what it was going to be. I didn't mind it. I thought it made a lot of sense. I don't think that the 360s or just the way that they did it, I don't think there's a disadvantage to those guys going out and just hot lap qualifying because the 410s go out and qualify or go out and hot lap, then the 410s go out and qualify, and then you put 360s on the track. The only thing I would do different is if I had 3 classes and or I don't know, a handful of guys running both classes, I would put something in between them. Like it just doesn't make sense to have it be such a rush between those guys. And then we're all about speeding the show up, but we got Aaron doing his victory lane celebration while everybody's sitting in their car waiting to be pushed. So to me, just put somebody in between the double duty guys. But I mean, I was double duty this week. It was kind of a rush, but at the same time, it just would make more sense to me. But I don't really care. I don't mind the 360 qualifying heat race deal. I think that's a good deal.
what were your thoughts, Carson?
I don't know. Just Knoxville's just trying to make. There's about 3 or 4 guys, crew chiefs, drivers in the 410 class that will bitch about anything. And so, McCoy and those guys are just trying to make them happy. We always used to go out last, and then, they'd bitch about, the track being gone, and then they put them out first, and they'd bitch about the track being greasy. So, I think they were trying to like kind of do a happy medium there with having us hot lapped and have the pro sprints go out there, maybe knock some grease off, and then we go out and qualify. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, no matter how the track is or whatever the format or the schedule is, if you're fast, you're fast. It doesn't matter, what else is going on. I don't know if you guys have been around this enough. No matter what they do, there's going to be 2 or 3 people bitching about it. But I kind of like what JJ said there. Like they know that there's going to be guys, there's going to be, between JJ, Tasker, a few other. There's going to be 3 or 4 guys doing double duty every week. So I would almost say let us go out, hot lap qualify, put the pro sprints in the middle, and then have the 360s go, and then get on with the show after that. I think that'd probably be the easiest way to do it. But I mean, I'm a big, besides, when they do that 360, I call it the mini 360 nationals in July. I'm not going to do any double duty besides that. So it doesn't really affect me too much. But I think it's fine the way it is right now. And I did kind of like the 360s, like their hot lap qualifying being together. When I first started racing 360s way back in the day, that's how they did it. And I don't know. I mean, it's still better than a draw, and
By a
there's
lot.
so many 360s. Yeah, there's so many 360s. Just the fact that they get to qualify, that's kind of a privilege a little bit. They could very easily go back to a draw and say, deal with it like they did forever. So I don't know. I think it's fine the way it is, and guys will just have to get used to it. What'd you guys think about I thought it was kind of funny the 4 minute clock after the 360 feature. Did you guys see it? They even put it on the scoreboard.
They did one for us, and I didn't even notice it. Like I
I
know they
did.
did it. It's like we rolled our car up, and I walked up, got to my spot where I was gonna watch, and then the 4 minute clock started. So it was pretty irrelevant in our 360 race.
Yeah, it's kind of like even now, or like last year, and even now, even with the 4 minute clock. I mean, I see what they're trying to do, and I respect it, but I'm like kind of like the laps are winding down the 360s. I'm like, all right, I should probably get in, and then I was like, wait a second, Reitzel, the top three, Reitzel,
Top four
JJ, and Tasker,
and
the top
Randall,
four
yeah.
are all they're they're all in this race too, and they're literally on the track. So what do I need to get put my head sock on right now for and sit in my crammed car for another 5 minutes? So I just wait until the checkered flag goes and wait until you guys pull in and then just get in after that. But I don't know. I thought for how many cars and there's a few wrecks. What time did the show end up getting over? I wasn't
It was
terribly
quick.
late, but
It
Before
was
10. Before 10.
was it
it was a
before
good
10?
it was
Yeah.
smooth. And one thing I do think, like, for as much as we always say all the bad stuff, one thing I give them an attaboy for is usually I think they split the field at like 40 cars and they had 38 or 39 cars and they did the split field for qualifying, which I think that's just using just like judgment to make a good call to make it more equal for everybody. Like, I don't think anybody's ever going to bitch that you split it like one car or two cars too soon. So I thought that was cool. And it seemed like a decision that was kind of made just in every racer's best interest. So that was good to see.
So we got our first 305 feature of the year, and it was a badass feature. The last lap was a hell of a shootout between Devin Klein and Matthew Stelzer, two guys that have been beasts in the past in 305s. And Stelzer came out on top. JJ, what do you think of that race?
I thought it was a really exciting finish. I mean, all the way through, I thought as far as the last couple of laps went, it was probably the race of the night. Just those guys were battling hard, and they were not giving an inch. They raced the shit out of each other, and for Stelzer to get it there at the end, I thought it was pretty exciting. And like Klein, I feel like pretty decorated in that division. And to be honest, I don't know a lot about any of these guys, but Stelzer, I know. I thought he was watching it. I felt like he was the underdog, and I thought it was cool when he came out on top.
You thought
If
the
I'm way
king
off,
of the
is
pro
he?
sprints was
Is
the
he?
underdog?
So
Are
cut
you
it.
kidding me, JJ?
I don't know
He
No,
is
if
leave
Steve
it in.
Kinzer.
Leave it in. The Steve Kinzer of the pro sprints. Matt Stelzer, he's been
dude,
there
I don't
since
watch
day
the
one.
pro sprints.
Wow.
All right, let me
The
go
di-
again, Daryl.
No, no, no. No, no.
It's staying
Stelzer, if you're
in.
listening, and I'm sure that
It's
you are,
staying in.
how
It's
dare you?
staying in.
How
Uh,
dare he? And
Yeah.
I'm on your notes.
man,
I mean,
I'm
that
sorry,
guy.
but I was rooting for you, dude.
The
Uh,
pantheon of 305s goes
Wow.
goes like Carson McCarl and then
Oh, wow.
Matthew Stelzer, right?
way up above,
No,
man. I don't know. I've
Stelzer,
heard Devin Klein's name a lot. I don't know.
Devin
Devin
Klein.
Klein's,
Devin Klein.
they're the top two dogs in the 305s for sure. I guess Mike Mayberry up there too, but he had
And
a
Jay
bit of an off
Kinder.
night. But
Yeah,
And
the
Jay
yellow
Kinder.
car. You
you
can't forget the yellow car.
forget the yellow submarine, the banana wagon of Jay Kinder. Absolutely not. But
Yeah,
no, I
Devin.
thought it was a hell of a race.
It was
It
good.
was a good show.
Entertaining race for sure.
Yeah, and JJ Devin Klein used to run the ball 5J in the 305 class and won like crazy then. Carson is right. Stelzer is the OG, the Steve Kinzer, and Mike Mayberry's was the champion last year, and Jay Kinder's been fast as heck. That was the next thing I had for my topic was Jesus, that's setting up to be a really nice points battle between those four. And it seemed like there was a bunch of new 305s there. I don't know. I thought it looked pretty good for the class, don't you guys think?
I just hope it stays, and no disrespect to the pro sprints, and I think they would agree. Right now, they're like last week they had 20 cars. I hope no more, no less. That's perfect. Two 10-car heats and a feature, no B main. No disrespect, but they are the third class. And we already got, I mean, there's gets points, in the middle of the summer where the 360s will have to have two B mains, even sometimes the 410s too. So if we get to a point where we're having 5 B mains in one night. I mean, I don't care how good of a promoter you are and how good there's no yellows and it goes green checkered. You're not getting that show over before midnight. So I hope it stays where it's at right now and just 2 heats and a B main, and those guys just keep putting on a good show. Old Stelzer, he got the wing trunked and started doing his thing through the middle there, and yeah, it was a damn good show.
Yeah, that was a trend that I started to see last year where it used to always just be you ran the bottom, but now it seems like guys are really focusing on running the middle to because they have to make passes, and it's neat seeing the guys try to get their cars hooked up in a spot where they shouldn't be hooked up.
It's made the class way more entertaining to watch. I mean, I don't know if it's just been keeping track of it more because we're going to talk about it on here or what, but like it definitely seems like they're mixing it up. Like last year had a lot of really good races, and then this year started out with a really good race.
So we're going to move on to the 360 class, where JJ, you had an excellent view of Aaron Reitzel being Aaron Reitzel. What were your thoughts on the 360 race, and why didn't you win?
Yeah, just a couple of mistakes when you can't make them against a guy like Aaron and Tasker too. Honestly, Tasker was on his game and got the jump on the start, led a bunch of laps. I was pretty committed to the bottom, and I got a little bit tight down there and pushed up off of it and didn't get off of too good one time. And at the same time, Tasker had a pretty good run and got outside of me and was able to close the door into 3. And when he did that, I basically lifted, lost the nose, pushed up, and Aaron blew around me. And then I think Tasker probably, closing the door on me, killed his momentum, and Aaron passed him on the next straightaway. So it's just, man, Aaron's really fast right now. I felt like we were keeping pace with Tasker. Like that's nothing worse than when you get passed for the lead and then you're on the same straightaway as the guys and you're just as good or better or just as fast or faster. It just makes you really know that you screwed it up, So it's kind of a shitty feeling, but to know we had that much speed our first night out with that car, or first night out this season with that car, felt really good, man. Blake did a great job, and my team was awesome. Just didn't get it done. But the way Aaron's getting around Knoxville right now, just 360, 410, it's like there's no room to make any mistakes at all. I mean, Tasker didn't even make a mistake. He made the right move, taking the air off of me, but it killed his momentum just enough to allow Aaron to have a run. And it's just, it seemed like it was going to be really hard to hold the 87 back, but at the same time, it's like we're damn close with our 360 program.
So I've always asked this to people, and we've had to be more vague. But now that you were racing the 87, what made the car so strong? Like when you were racing it, what could he do that impressed you with the actual car?
Man, to be honest, we didn't get to mix it up. We didn't even get to race together. Like I missed the bottom the one time off of 2, and Tasker got around me, and it took the note. Like he closed it off on me so good that I couldn't make the corner, and Aaron it wasn't like a side by side type of deal. I mean, he went around me and put a half a straightaway on me all in one fell swoop. Like I broke my momentum completely, and it's almost like restrictor plate racing at Daytona. Like when you got to burp the throttle, you're half a lap getting going again, and I wasn't even in a place by the time I got to where I could see him, he was ahead of Tasker and we were in traffic. And so, to be honest, I didn't really get to see him execute or do anything good, but I've watched his car go around there a ton. I mean, he's just extremely stuck to the track and makes all the right decisions, and he's really good. I mean, his angles and his anticipation at Knoxville, he's been doing it and perfecting it here for a few years, and he's damn good at it right now.
So, Carson, while you were watching and trying to decide when you were going to hop in your car, what were your thoughts on the 360s?
I mean, it was a pretty good race too. I was honestly, I was really impressed with JJ. Those. I mean, there's a lot of money in all the classes, but there's a lot of money in that 360 class too. So for JJ to show up with his own deal, first time ever, and battle for a win, and I think I'm obviously a big JJ Hickle fan. I think he's going to battle for a lot of wins as the season goes on. Um, but Reitzel just yeah, you can just tell his confidence level, especially in the 360s, just through the roof. I mean, it was one of those deals where, and there's only a few times or maybe a couple times in my life I've felt this fast where you're just watching the guy in front of you, and if he goes low, okay, then I'll go high and I'll drive around you up here. Okay, you want to go high, then I'll go low. It's just he's just waiting for you to make a decision, and he's going to go the other direction and most likely drive by you. So he was just way faster than everybody, and his, yeah, like JJ said, he's super stuck. and he's driving it super hard. And I mean, especially now that he's been on back on the road and kicking ass with those guys. I mean, now he's got the extra confidence that like, hey, not only am I kicking ass locally, but I'm kicking ass nationally. So to come back to his bread and butter 360s at Knoxville, it was kind of easy peasy lemon squeezy for him. But hopefully the rest of us can, figure something out and give him a run for his money later this year. But I think the 360 class this year is going to be super tough and, a ton of fun to watch the rest of the year.
So it's you're trying to figure out, you're trying to sort through between the double duty guys who the 360 contenders are going to be. Jamie Ball, the defending champion, obviously got off to a good start, but a guy who struggled last year was Clint Garner, and he actually got off to a good start. Would you guys say they're probably the favorites to go after the title this year? Start with you, JJ.
I would think so. I mean, I just based on paper and the speed, like watching that heat race this last weekend, Clint Garner looked like 10 years ago. Clint Garner. I mean, that thing was stuck. He was rolling right around guys' right rear, just powering down the straightaway. He looked really good, and his car looked really good, and so that's encouraging for the 40 car guys. And yeah, I mean, Jamie gets qualified so good every night, and then he's just really consistent. Those guys don't fall out of a lot of races. He's always got speed. It's going to be tough to dethrone him, I would say.
Carson, what are your thoughts?
Um, I was looking at the points this week, which is pointless, but Tasker's going for the 410 because right now they have him listed as the point leader for the
Yeah,
360 class, but he's not because as far as I know, the rule always at Knoxville was as a driver you can only go for one point championship. So I don't know if maybe they amended that or maybe it's just my race pass and they haven't figured it all out yet. So I mean, so who is the 360 point leader? Tech is Jamie
yeah, it would be
Ball
Jamie Garner. It would go Jamie Garner, Selvage, Cam Martin, Cade Higday. Cade Higday's been fast. I mean, Cam Martin both and Cade Higday both have been coming on like stronger and stronger, but Cade's really impressed me at Knoxville the last year or so.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, so obviously Jamie's going to be, I mean, he won it last year. He's got a ton of laps in the 360. He's going to be the favorite for sure. And, he knows how to qualify. He knows how to stay out of trouble. And, he knows how to get a win here and there. So I think, he's the odds on favorite. But I mean, you can't count out Clint Garner. And, I wouldn't totally count out Dustin Selvage. He's been running 410s now for a long time. And, the 360 deal, I mean, it gets really bottom dominant a lot, and Dustin Selvage can run the bottom just as good as anybody. So if he can get qualified and start running, like, start starting up front, I think he'll be a force to be reckoned with because he's very consistent. So I don't know. I think, Garner, it's probably going to be the Garner Ball show, but I wouldn't be shocked if, Dustin Selvage gets up there and, makes some noise.
I agree, half face.
Sorry.
Yeah, I agree too. I think that's a pretty good call. Selvage, he's always been really solid around the bottom, and it seems like you really get rewarded for hitting the bottom in that class. And it's just Dennis Gainey's got good stuff, and he should be able to make some noise this year, hopefully.
Me and Selvage have a lot in common too, because we both get our asses chewed by our wives on the way home for running the bottom too much. So I'm a big fan of Dustin.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy.
Rumor has it he may show up on the next live broadcast. That's a
I
rumor.
hope so.
That's a
I hope
rumor.
so.
It may have been
I
discussed.
hope.
We
I
may be
hope
in
that.
negotiations.
That's
I hope
awesome.
that monotoned SOB shows up.
So on to the 410 class, and Rico Abreu may never lose again. He looked pretty darn good, but just like at the Outlaw show, Aaron Reitzel was right there. Carson, I know you were a little busy, but did you get a chance to watch the 410 race, and what do you think about it?
Yeah, no, Rico just looks really super maneuverable. He can, he was putting, he ran the bottom probably a little over half the time, but when he would go to the top in traffic or when he needed to, he looked really balanced up there. That car just looks so balanced at all time. And that's something that, I gotta get better on my car. But, he's obviously another guy that's super confident, really believes in his race car. And, I mean, it's drive, whether he goes to the top, whether he goes to the bottom. That thing's driving forward. And I've noticed, trying to watch videos and learn and stuff. he can drive it in really, him and Larson. I mean, when you go back and watch him and Larson run the bottom at the Outlaw show, I mean, they're driving it in so hard and they get to the center and the thing just squats and rotates and off they go. So that's going to be tough to beat anytime you can get that stuck on both ends, he's going to be tough to beat. So I'm really excited for all these guys to get back on their national tours and get the heck out of town.
Yeah.
And it was actually really funny. I was talking to McCoy before this week, and he was, we were talking about all these high limit guys and everyone showing up, and I was like, yeah, 6,000 to win, 1,000 to show. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Knoxville's the greatest place in the world to race, and I mean, we are so. I mean, I ran ninth last week at a local show and got $1,500. I mean, that is unheard of. So big shout out to Knoxville or whoever's idea that was. Bless up to you.
Bless
But
up.
uh, but I'm excited for those guys to get the heck out of town and go get their charters and let us do it out between us. But no, those guys are really fast, and Rico's done a hell of a job. And come Outlaw weekend, and the next one, and come Nationals time, he's gonna be a contender for sure.
So JJ, when you weren't slamming into the back of Carson, what do you think of the 410 race?
I thought it was a good race. I mean, to be honest, I was really impressed with Carrie Madson's pace. I mean, I know he fell back 2 spots there late and finished fourth, but man, I just hope I can grow up to age like Carrie Madsen, man. He's like the dude's just fast every year, no matter what. Like he just stiff arms father time and keeps on rolling. Like it's pretty awesome. And yeah, those guys were impressive. There was a lot of good racing throughout the field. I mean, all the no real big surprises. All the normal guys took care of business, kind of from what I could see and watch. I thought it was an entertaining race, but not really because Rico's just really damn fast.
So, did either of you actually see my Twitter where I actually posted the photo of Carrie Madsen as a kid on a BMX bike?
I don't
I
think
saw
either.
he tweeted it.
Mother of
He
God. Is there anything
I
that
didn't
guy
believe
can't
that.
do?
That was pretty gnarly. I saw he posted it himself or whatever,
What'd he
and
do?
yeah, he was like he's like 10 feet above a swimming pool BMXing, and there's like it looks like typical 1980s,
Yeah,
Australia.
Thrasher magazine.
Yeah.
Yes, it looks like the cover of a BMX magazine. It's the 80s. This was before, all the sugars and dyes. RFK wasn't around back then. Everyone's looking good with their shirts off. But anyways, no, that was badass. And I mean, he's got no fear, and he still doesn't. And the only thing I can think of, because he was so fast early, if we could talk to him, I wonder sliding around. I wonder if he sealed up his tire or something. Because yeah, he started to kind of fade there at the end. So I mean, maybe I'd have to go rewatch. Maybe he made some bad moves. The only thing I can think of is maybe he kind of sealed up his tires there, sliding around, battling with Rico. But I think for the first half of the race, he was definitely possibly the fastest car.
So, before we get into our title picks for this year, there's a couple questions we need to answer. My first question, Carson, you know the answer to. Is Austin actually going to run the whole Knoxville title? Is Austin actually going to run for the title, or is he going to travel, as he said earlier in the year?
Actually, honestly, I swear to God, I don't know. Is he going to be at Knoxville most of the time? I believe so. I've been giving him shit all winter saying I'll see you at the banquet. He's been saying, "Oh, we're doing this, we're doing that." I was like, "Whatever. I'll see you at the banquet. I just hope I talk after you." So, I do think like come like Kings Royal weekend and some of those weekends they're going to take off. Like I think I could see them kind of doing like a Brian Brown type schedule where when there's some big races like that, maybe take off for a weekend or so. But I mean, I don't know. Time will tell. Right now, their tire guy just went back home. He's going to start racing himself. He's going to race 410s at Houston. So it's just him and Scotty right now. So they got to work on getting another guy. But um, I don't know. I mean, I don't blame if they don't leave. I obviously, for my own selfish reasons, I want them to get the heck out of town. But I mean, I almost, you can't, I mean, it pays so well to run at Knoxville. It's only 30 minutes from his house. And he ran third last week and made 3 grand and was home before midnight. So that's kind of really hard to give up, especially now he's got a kid and everything. So I don't think, as of right now, I don't think they'll be at every single one, but he's so fast. I mean, I've seen, guys do it in the past. I could see him missing a weekend and maybe still winning the championship, honestly. It's going to be, unless something happens where he crashes or blows a motor or something. I mean, him running at the top five at a local show is going to be hard to do. So obviously, I hope me and JJ can, give him a run for his money, but I don't exactly know their plan. But I think if you're a fan of Austin McCarl and you show up on Saturdays, you're probably going to see him.
JJ, last year you really derailed Brian Brown's momentum at the start of the year, and he didn't really seem to recover. Uh, do you see Brown turning it around this year?
He won races after that deal happened. I don't think him struggling or doing good has much to do with me, but I don't know. I mean, he's always fast. I expect him to be fast at Knoxville. He ran fifth this week, but it was a pretty tough field of cars, and it's like, to be honest, when I look at it and see that he ran fifth, I feel like that's a down week for him. So I still consider him one of the Knoxville elites as far as what we get to race against pretty much week in and week out. So I don't, I have no idea what the future holds for him, but I would expect probably more of the same until proved otherwise.
Well, that's all I had on our list for this week's show, except for our title picks.
One thing I
So,
want to say is to tell Carson at least is that I'm not running the 63 car very, very often. That was just like a one
Oh, I
time.
thought you were running it every week. My
If
bad.
they would let me run for points for the driver championship thing, I would probably actually consider trying to do it, and I would try to do it. But since you don't get anything, or you don't get a run for points or anything, I'm just doing it for like, I was just kind of shaking it down before I get busy running Husets on Sundays.
Would they let you run it? Like, would they let you be in the owner points though? Because I mean, you
I
could
don't think
still.
so
I
because
mean,
Justin Henderson and Sandvig did that same thing, and they still didn't let them win both. Or Henderson
no,
and Sunby or whatever.
as a driver, yeah, but yeah, Sunby, I think you meant.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. You should look into that. It pays decent. You could at least get a
Yeah.
couple extra shekels come November. But I don't blame you. If I were you, I
It's
mean, we're so lucky.
Dude, you made
I
more running ninth than I made running third. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean but the 360. Trust me, I've been to some 360 shows earlier this year. I sent it to you, JJ. I was like, "Jeez,
I
Louise,
went to those. You're like, what are we racing for? I'm
yeah,
like, see you tomorrow.
yeah, I know it's ridiculous. I don't care where you are. If you run top, five, you should be at least able to pay for both of the rear tires you burn off in the feature. That's just me. That's my opinion. But no, I don't blame you. I mean, with Houston's on Sunday, I mean, I don't know how many cars you have in your own
Yeah,
personal,
I don't have that much. Like,
stable
I just
there.
wanted to go make sure my stuff was good, like I kind of thought it was at the 360 deal last year before we ran out of fuel, and then just basically put that one kind of off to the side for Knoxville or big track type of stuff. But
I love how JJ's acting like he's not JJ Coons and doesn't have like six
I got a
cars
big
ready.
track car. Well, that's
JJ,
what's funny is I got like a nice
JJ.
car with nice components, and then I have everything else that can go to all the other tracks.
See, that's exactly how I am right now. So I have two cars built. I have the car I'm running, and then I have a brand new car, which, I mean, everything besides the steering gear and, some of the radius rods is brand new. But I like my spare car being new. That
Yeah,
way, when I junk this one, knock on wood, hopefully not for a while,
yeah.
I go to an even nicer one, because usually when you junk stuff, you got to rig stuff together, and you're like, ah, crap, I should have maybe saved some stuff. But
Well, and it
I,
feels
I,
like
I don't blame you there.
right. Well, and it feels like when you go to like Husits or any of these like early in the year races, and everybody's kind of like you got a bunch of young kids and people making their debuts in sprint cars and stuff like that. It's like you might as well just not take your best stuff the first couple of weeks.
You should never take a brand new, unless you're an outlaw team, never take a brand new wing or wheel to Huset's. I can bury, I used to always call them Huset's wings and Huset's wheels, but Eikenberry calls them battle wings. Like, you got to have your battle car.
Yeah, when I went there
Huset's, you
with
got to
him the
have your
first
battle
time,
car.
he's like, "Welcome to the Battle Dome."
Exactly. I mean, are you planning on running up there every week, or what's your
I'm
plans for
hoping to. If
Houston's?
I'm gonna hopefully run there for points is my plan. I've only got one
Dude,
410 right now, so I'm living on a prayer a little bit, but I'm hoping to make some noise early and attract some sponsors.
that's exactly my deal too. I don't plan on running there for points, but I'll be there a decent amount. And it's like, yeah, like I only have, I got two 410s right now, but both of them have a decent amount of nights on them. So I'm trying to do the math.
That's
I
right.
don't want to, I'm not sure if I'll have the sponsorship or the funding to get one fresh in before the Nationals. So I don't want to show up to the Nationals and both have,
Totally.
15, 16 nights on it. So you're trying to play that math game. But then, I get on Twitter, like a month ago, and I see like that sprintcarstats.com or whatever, that guy on Twitter,
Yep.
puts out that, Houston and Knoxville are Knoxville and Houston are the two highest paying local
It pays
weekly
good.
shows in the
Yeah.
country. And I'm like, oh, son of an onion. I mean, I've been going up there every week for 150 years, and
Why
you know,
stop
I
now that it
now,
pays?
yeah, now that it pays good, now I'm gonna stop going. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll go up there opening night and just see how it all plays out.
Take
But
take
I'm
it from
excited
there.
for exactly just one race at a time.
So, fellas, it's time to make our picks.
Well, that's where
JJ,
we were.
JJ, who's winning the 305 title? No one can duplicate the answer.
Uh, I'm gonna go with Devin Klein since I obviously already picked him as my favorite for everything.
Over Matt Stelzer again.
Yeah, dude. No offense to Matt Stelzer. I mean, I'm a
It
fan
seems
of
offense.
everybody.
Yeah, it seems offensive.
It seems a little offensive.
I actually do. I root for the blue car a lot, but I'm picking Klein just because I know his name the most. I'm
Carson,
like a chick picking a
yeah.
sports team, dude.
You're
Like
the
that's my
chick that
favorite
wins the foot.
animal.
You're the office secretary that wins the football pool because she picks the quarterback that's cute. I
Yeah,
hate you.
yeah. I don't actually know if Devin Klein's cute or not, but that's my guy this year. I rooted for AJ Johnson last year so hard just because I picked him in this deal. So it's like now you got a fan for life, Klein.
Who do you got, Carson?
I'm not gonna pick Stelzer because that's too easy. I'll go Mike Mayberry. He had a rough week last weekend. I don't know if something happened in the feature, if he fell out or whatever, but he was really fast these last couple of years and won the championship. I think he'll get things turned around and old Mike Mayberry, be
But
back on top.
I'd
I
like you
think
to
you're
know
both.
that he's 163 points out of first place right now.
That's only 16 spots. You get a couple
Really?
DNFs here. Well, it's like what, like 10 points
I
a
don't
spot
know.
or something like that? I don't
I'm
know
looking
either.
at the points now for the first time, and these fluctuations are huge. Like I'm right behind you, but like 40 points back or 50 points back.
Well, I was able to get 13 because I qualified good at the
Oh,
Outlaw
right.
show, so I got 13 extra points there. But I think it goes
Forgot about that.
200 for quick time or something, or 140 maybe for quick time, and then goes down to about eighth is like the last spot. You get extra points, and then it's what 200 to win the feature, and goes down by 10, I think.
Shout out
I don't
to
know.
Chris Martin is fourth in points right now.
Yeah, he had a good run.
He
Yeah,
did. He ran
I
eighth. He was really strong.
yeah. No, I got by Baston late there in the feature, and him and Peck were right there. I had a couple lap cars kind of stuck on the bottom. Otherwise, I think I would have had a shot at him. But I had to get off the old berm there, and we all know I hate to do that, so that kind of screwed me. But no, Chris has looked a lot better this year for sure. I think old Wasowski twisting the spanners in the right way. He got he got JJ off his team, and all of a sudden he got fast.
That's
Yeah,
how it
no shit.
works.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put a picture of Shane Gillis in your cockpit. So you guys are both wrong. Jake Kinder came on strong last year and nearly stole the title. I don't know if anyone calls him the Flying Banana, but I now call him the Flying Banana, and he is going to be your points champion this year in the 305s. I rarely see him make mistakes. He's always fast, and I think he's going to be the guy to beat there. Moving on to the 360 class, JJ got first pick last time, I believe. So, Carson, we're going to give you first pick. Who you taking?
Well, hopefully, old T Mac can get things turned around in the right direction. And I don't know if he's planning on 100% running for points or busting out the 410 here and there. I don't know exactly what his plans are, but if he runs for points, hopefully he can get his stuff straightened out. But I'm gonna go with my good old buddy Rusty Dusty Selvage. I said it earlier. Um, he runs the bottom like an SOB, and that's where a lot of 360 races are won. So I think he's gonna start qualifying better. He's gonna knock the rust off, and he's been plumbing all winter. Now he's got to start plumbing on that bottom, and he's gonna come uh come for him here in the next
Jesus.
couple weeks.
Me running.
There's your clip.
Clip it.
He's
Put
gonna
it on the
come.
Patreon.
Oh my god.
Plummet away.
JJ, can you give us a less homoerotic answer for who's going to win the three?
You should go, Daryl.
No, I'll go last every time. I gotta let my heroes look like heroes.
Well, I want to pick Clint Garner, but I have to pick Jamie Ball because I don't want to be wrong.
Okay, then pick Jamie Ball, sir.
All right.
Explain why.
So I would say, as far as the 360 class goes, it's going to be tough to dethrone Ball. Like their shit's just operating. They've been working on it a long time at Knoxville, and they got a really nice program. And Jamie seems like he's really comfortable in the 360 deal, and they got a lot of speed all the time. And qualifying's extremely important. Not a lot of mistakes, not a lot of DNFs. I see it being more of the same from last year.
Well, since you didn't take him, I'm going to take Clint Garner. I was impressed as hell with the heat. Looked like he was fast in the feature. We all know he's a badass there in a 360. And I can see them turning it around. And as good as that car was hooked up the other night, I have to believe that they found some of the issues they had last year. And he's going to get rolling. So we're going to move on to the 410 class now. This year, you're allowed to pick yourself. I call that the Carson McCarl rule. JJ, who are you taking in the 410 championship at Knoxville this year?
I mean, I feel like if you're allowed to pick yourself, you got to pick yourself, Daryl. But I mean, it's actually really tough when you sit here and look at it because I don't know what Austin's schedule is, and Carson knows nothing about any of his family members. And Brian Brown, I assume he's going to miss some races. It sure makes a guy feel like shit if you don't pick yourself to beat guys that aren't going to be there. So, I really do, it's, you almost have to pick yourself. I feel like if you're me or Carson, because it's, I'd love to see a season where some of those guys go out and leave. And then, me, Carson, Madsen get to mix it up for the title. Couple of younger bucks and a god dang legend,
Carson, I feel like I already know the answer.
I mean, how do you answer this? This is a pretty tough question to answer any other way. It's like,
it's a pretty obvious question that I got to ask.
I pick Leland McSpadden.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No.
Won the first Silver Crown race I ever saw.
Absolutely. Dude was a badass. No, I mean, if Austin stays and Brown stays, it's going to be tough.
Tough.
Because I don't know, Brown usually leaves for the King's Royal and stuff like that. But like, honestly, like we've said, these last couple of years have not been what he's been looking for. So I wouldn't be shocked if he decides to stay and try to add another championship to his resume. And honestly, same with Austin. Like we were talking about how good the money is, and it's their home track and everything. So I have no idea, but I think it's pretty wide open. I think if I can get my shit together, and rack off a win here or two, and get back to consistently running top 5, kind of like we were last year, and qualifying in the top 3 like we were last year. That's adorable, dog. I really think we can maybe give those guys a run for their money, but right now those two guys are kind of head and shoulders ahead of the rest of us. So if those guys leave, I pick me. But obviously Madson's gonna be really tough. I think besides Austin and Brown, I think me and JJ were the only two local guys to make the show at the Outlaw Show, and a lot of people were saying that was probably one of the toughest races of the year. So I would love if it was me and JJ duking it out at the end of the year. That would be a lot of fun, and so I hope that's what it comes down to. But we'll just have to see, I guess.
One guy that I think we should mention is like a dark horse would be Scott Boguski. He's got a lot of laps around Knoxville. He's won races there last year, and he was quick time this week. And we all know qualifying's important. I mean, he had a mishap in the feature where he didn't. I don't know if he finished, but he got collected and ran into and ended up in the back. But for as much speed as he showed, kind of week one, or for the first weekly show with a new team with Justin there, he could definitely be a guy that makes some noise there late in the year if they just keep that consistency up.
I've
Well,
watched the video a few times. You had to pucker up there a little bit there,
Dude,
bud.
and my
That was
wing,
pretty, it was like a gas it to get out of the way situation.
it was actually scary because, like, whenever they just disappear and you're like on the gas, like, please don't feel that. Oh, come on. Like, you're like pulling your butt forward, like, come on, baby. Yeah, it was
And you guys
almost
were
a
talking
bad
about me
moment.
earlier?
Yours was way worse, dude. You wanted salvage to plumb your bottom for you till you
Not
cummed.
my bottom, the bottom. Please, Dustin, stay away from me.
So
so yeah, you guys mentioned earlier Thrasher magazine cover boy Carrie Madsen. I think he's going to be the guy that gives everyone a pretty tough go this year. I was really impressed how late he went out on the World of Outlaw night and still laid down a pretty darn good lap. I think you're going to see him qualify pretty good all year. Uh, and yeah, I think he had a pretty decent year down in Australia, and I think he might be in a pretty good frame of mind. And yeah, I think Carrie's the other guy you guys are going to be dealing with. So that's my pick for the championship.
Wow, Daryl, that's brutal. He's not
I
even
can't
here.
pick
I was
you
He's
guys.
impressed. I
not
thought I
even
thought he
here.
looked
No, he
sharp,
did
You
good.
guys
honestly.
already picked
No, I'm just saying
you.
for not picking either, the two guys staring right at you, but that's cool.
You're
Whatever,
not
Daryl.
allowed to pick the people already picked, and you both picked
We picked
yourselves.
ourselves. You could pick one of us. But no, solid pick. No, Carrie's
Oh,
going to be tough. Hold on. Do we know?
Hey,
Like, is Carrie? Because
I
I
don't
mean,
know. I
I
don't
don't
know,
know if
but
Carrie's like he kind of is in that group with Austin and Brown. Like,
they
I
should
don't
all
know if
just
he's planning
carpool to the
on.
Kings Royal together. Me and Carson will buy their fuel.
I don't think we've really bitched about anything all week. Do we have anything we want to talk shit about?
Man,
Not really. Especially not
track
really
was
when it.
awesome at Knox. Like the track this
Yeah,
week was
there's not
really
a lot to
good.
complain about it. The old Knoxville Raceway.
I thought
They
the
get an
last two
honorable
weeks have been a
mention.
solid racetrack.
Yep, it's been good both times. Like thin bottom, like kind of a lippy top. I thought it's been actually pretty fun and really good to race on.
And honestly, the couple times where I threw slide jobs and went to the top kind of like pacing around. Like I'm sure JJ do the same thing. Kind of look at the top, look at the bottom. What's gonna hold me? What's not? And the curb looked gnarly. Like when you were just pacing around there, like coming off a two and getting into three, like it looked huge. And I was like, oh, geez Louise, I don't know about that. And then the times I went up there, it actually wasn't as bad. Like it was kind of like soft almost. Like you had to be careful for sure. You couldn't just roll in there mock 1,000. But I don't know. It wasn't near as treacherous as I thought it was going to be. So, I mean, for my driving style, I wouldn't mind it if they knocked it down from time to time. But I thought the track these last couple weeks have been damn good.
Okay, we're
Don't
gonna talk
knock
some
the
shit.
curb down.
We're gonna talk some shit. Why won't you get off the bottom?
You sound like my father-in-law. I got my ass chewed for 2.5 hours on Easter about rolling the bottom, and I said, "Listen here, sloppy jalopy. The okay, I used to strictly run the top when I was younger. That's all. Like when I was a kid and first started running at Knoxville, like my dad literally told me he was like, "Don't even go to the bottom. Like, don't even worry about it. Just rip the top. You'll learn that later in life." And then I got pretty good at it, and I kind of started focusing on it last year, and all of a sudden my bills are getting paid and I'm running up front. And, rent's not that big of a deal anymore. So that's why I've been focusing on the bottom. But no, I can run the top. You've all seen me do it once. So and honestly, the way I got my car, I get too gung ho on the bottom and get myself too tight. And then when I do go up there, I'm all left front up and, pogo sticking around there. So I've been talking with some people and, trying to get myself more balanced because, like, everyone's like, oh, well, Wasowski, he's the best to ever run Knoxville and he ran the bottom, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, if you watch the videos, he definitely went to the top from time to time. So if you want to win consistently and you want to win championships, you got to be able to maneuver around. So tune in next week. I'm ripping the boards down. Unless it's juiced up on the bottom, then I'm going back to the berm.
Anything else, fellas? Well, fellas, we'll see you next week. I think we had a pretty good episode, other than when Carson talked about plumbing, and hopefully everyone has a good week.
Yeah, glad to be on the show. Hopefully, me and Carson don't have to make any contact on the track next week.
Sounds good. God bless Canada.